This is Florida Man. Florida Man makes his own rules. Florida Man is a little bit crazy. Florida Man tends to end up in the newspapers because he died doing some sort of weird thing involving shenanigans. Regardless, Florida Man, the most famous man from Florida. Of course, Florida Man, rapid breeders, because for every Florida Man that passes away, two will take its place. Slow learners, because mistakes will be made again and again and again. Quarrelsome, because fighting. Repugnant, because Florida Man. And of course, wasteful, because, again, Florida Man. Fanatic xenophobe, militarist, fanatic purifiers, distinguished admiralty from the planet of Florida. This seems like a beautiful, beautiful thing to go with. Oh boy. Florida Man. Now, Florida Man wouldn't be Florida Man if he didn't run into some insane luck whilst playing in a very gimmicky shenanigans-esque playstyle. Why do you say extreme luck, ASpec? Well, he has managed to roll the Baul, which means that every single world will soon be Disneyland. That's right. Going into space by Cape Canaveral and finding the Baul is basically the perfect ingredients to recreate Epcot, as well as all the other wonderful lands that a good old Walt generated for the wonderful people in Florida. Man. And on top of that, Florida Man did decide that he was a little bit on the hungry side. You know, sometimes you get a little bit on the hungry. So conquering a species and immediately turning them into processed food was definitely the way to go, because who needs farming? Have you ever been to Florida? It's a hellscape filled with alligators, swamps. I was almost going to say malaria, but hey, that wouldn't be too surprising. Oh yeah, of course, fire ants. It's better just to eat whatever you can find. In this particular case, cats. Now, speaking of places that are like home, Florida Man has managed to spawn right next to the Sol System. The Sol System is currently a primitive world, and, well, they've got a reasonable amount of pops of 28, and, well, sometimes you're going to need to crack a couple eggs in order to make an omelet. So, in order to take this world, the rightful world of Florida Man, we're going to need to displace a couple pops, or we can make him work in the meth labs. That may be an option as well. It is the Florida Man way to do so. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go with that. When it comes to traditions, Florida Man is way up on the supremacy. Nobody's better than Florida Man. Let's be honest here. We are the best. And we can prove that by our shenanigans. But as I mentioned, we're from Florida, so adaptability is definitely something that we need to have. Hellscape? Hot? Humid? 90% of the year? My lord, it's terrible. It's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty much 24/7. Adaptability is the way to go, and dietary enrichment is a nice little modifier to go with that, because other people need to be eaten, and dietary enrichment is definitely up that alley. Now, it is in the nature of Florida Man that conflict will happen sooner or later, but we've got ourselves an ingenious little scheme. Lasers? Kinetic weapons? No. Those aren't good enough. Nobody will see this one coming. It's ingenious. How could we ever fail by doing nothing but add flak and point defense on our ships? Oh yes, this is going to be an ingenious solution to all of our problems. The main issue with this is that we're gonna need to fight really up close, like the type of distance where we could just hang out of the window and cut them with a knife. But hey, you know, we got flak batteries and sentinel point defense. Nobody's ever going to see this coming. They won't be able to defend against that, except, you know, unless they have armor. But hey, that's because shields are, you know, they need to die and armor is great. So that is basically the reason here. Yeah, I can already see the headlines now. Florida Man dies trying to use stupid weapons on his ships. Ah, yes, the mysterious moon of Orlando. Because it is clearly a mystery. Yeah, that's curious. We should probably take a look at the mysterious moon of Orlando. Time will we figure out whether or not flak and point defense are actually going to work here for Florida Man. Well, so far so good. I've seen this before in Independence Day, and that didn't end up too well for the pilots over there. Maybe they can crack through it, but who knows? Really curious how this is going to go. Oh wow, they're actually cracking through the shield. That is amazing. For some reason, the station's not shooting back. I'm not entirely sure why. With a 0% hit ratio. That is very weird. Yeah, it definitely would appear that the station is not shooting back in any way. That is rather curious. Not entirely. Maybe it's because we're underneath its guns with all the point defense. Or they're just so flabbergasted by Florida Man's ingenious ship design that they don't know how to handle this. Which is perfectly understandable. Well, it looks like the wonders of point defense have managed to win. The real question is right now, there is an enemy fleet up here, and we will try to engage just a bunch of corvettes. I'm just really curious whether or not we're going to be able to, you know, oh, if we can manage to jump in on them right on the edge, we can just, you know, shift them then, there, and there. So, obviously, we don't have the firepower at the moment because, oh yeah, we get that one missile from this here Dark Wanderer. But, yeah, they're gonna be really freaked out when there's nothing but point defense shooting at them. Egads, Florida Man, I think you've managed to crack the code. It turns out that point defense was the way to go all along. Ingenious. Yeah, amazing. Well, whilst we're at it, we may as well just subjugate Earth. I think that would be a good idea here, because the homeland needs to be ours. I hope that we actually brought enough... Yeah, we brought enough armies. Oh, yeah, they were definitely no match for us. And they're going to be in forced labor for a little while now, so at least we'll get enough resources for a little bit. How fast is this population going to be declining? No pop decline at all? Really? Probably at the end of the month. Yeah. So, yeah, we're just gonna work them to death. I think that would be a good idea. Well, sooner or later it was gonna happen. It looks like 42 years and 3 days until Florida Man will have to pull the plug on this particular project. Let's keep an eye on it for now. Knowing our luck, something terrible is gonna happen. In the meantime, our point defense fleets are still rampaging through enemy territory, as they should be. And that's pretty good. It's good stuff. It's what I like to see. Our losses are rather minimal. How strong are our fleets? They're in a reasonable spot. Of course, we get the Omni Codex. Because why wouldn't we get the Omni Codex? Because sometimes you're just playing a super gimmicky game where you decide, haha, this is hilarious. We're playing as Florida Man. Isn't this funny? You roll the Baul, 25,000 dig sites, and the Omni Codex, which is going to give us an insane amount of pops for every single world that we have, which we can then mine for resources. Why do we have to be purifiers? Never in a million years did I think that this particular strategy would ever be effective, but even though we're slowly but steadily crushing through their armor, somehow the point and defense flak is working. It's kind of like autocannons, but dumber. Hey, at least we're immune to missiles, so there's that. Well, would you look at this? We've managed to find the last Baul, and instead of taking out of its container, what we'll probably end up doing is put it on the nightstand as a really fancy lava lamp. Because, yeah, why would we release it? That makes 0 sense. Now we can just turn worlds into Gaia worlds with food that we can just consume whenever we want. It's gonna be great. Also, apparently, there's Xeno scum. So the Baul is talking about the burners who burned entire colonies. I like these guys. They're the kind of people that Florida Man would be extremely excited to meet. Man, can you imagine going into the swamps and finding yourself a new homestead and or meth lab and basically, you know, burning the place down. Sometimes you're gonna find yourself some alligators that you gotta root out, and that's basically what the Baul are, right? Still, you know, on the mantelpiece, next to the bed, lava lamp, you get the general idea. And now it is, of course, time to turn Florida, our beautiful home, into that Gaia world that we always wanted. If we can, oh yeah, we gotta enable the activation first. So yeah, activated the Baul, life seeding, turns a non-Ecumenopolis, non-Hive world, non-machine world into a Gaia world. Is it overpowered? Hell yeah, it is overpowered, but it's so good, Xeno scum. Why do I have to get this in a gimmick run through? This is so awesome. Gaia world. Let me guess. We got these undesirables, plantoids. Yes, few the species, the Baul.
Construction complete.
That is just so sad. Well, of course, we need to fight for our lives. Thankfully, we managed to get 50 corvettes on the field, with our point defense, which is a little bit unconventional. But hey, knife fight in the phone booth sort of scenario is fine by me. Besides, we got 2k fleet power. We should be able to easily handle this, and then we'll just take the territory back that we managed to lose. But in the meantime, these guys are apparently also attacking us. Not entirely sure what's going on with that, but hey, at least we should be winning this here fleet fight, right? Come on, point defense, you can do it. No, of course, at some point we're gonna need to get ourselves some destroyers, and look at that, isn't that the perfect destroyer? I think we should put some point defense on this thing here, and maybe also a little bit of flak. There we go, and then we'll auto complete that. Yeah. Flak, Florida flak. Sounds like the perfect name for Florida man right here. Look at that. Double the firepower of a standard Corvette. It's amazing. It's the Flak Boat. It's like we're going to add this design to every single one of our fleets because we can.
Complete.
Yes. Of course, sooner or later, you're going to encounter yourself some of the wildlife. Now, of course, if you go into the swamp, you'll find yourself all sorts of critters. But thankfully, we got our flat cannons with us, so we can actually take all this stuff out of here. They seem a little bit more metallic than usual, which is somewhat awkward. But hey, I'm sure that 50 Corvettes versus whatever these things are will be just fine. So we're gonna need to do a little spot check here. Okay, let's take a look here. Who does not like Florida man? Please raise your hand, or put up a little red thingy if you don't like Oh no. Nobody seems to like Florida man.
Construction complete.
Now, clearly, after being attacked by these friends to the south, we're going to need to do something ourselves. We're going to go for a little attack here because clearly our point defense technology is the best. So, we're just going to dive right in here. What's the worst that can happen, right? What's the worst that can happen? I'll tell you what the worst is that can happen. A place in the paper with the headline, Florida man dies trying to invade foreign country. So thankfully we jumped right on top of our target. Clearly we have more corvettes than they do, and obviously more point defense. Let's take a look at what kind of weapon systems they have. Oh no, they're using missiles. Yeah, missiles are not gonna work very well versus our ship design, I'm afraid. Flak and point defense. That's... Well, with missiles in tow, they don't have a lot of... Well, we're not really making a dent for some reason. That's a little bit concerning. We're basically still running with the Tier 1 equivalent here. So, yeah, this may be a little bit worrying here for Florida man. Oh my god, we got better point defense. There it is. Barrier point defense. Gotta do a little bit more damage, but still the minus 75. Armor damage modifier.
Construction complete.
Not going to be too helpful for the moment. Oh dear. Now, this enemy fleet is currently attacking one of my stations, and of course, I've put nothing but flak on the defense platforms, because of course I have. But what else would I be using? This is an ingenious plan. It can never fail, right? This is terrible. This is probably not gonna work. Now, if we can somehow take this station, we can actually use it as a somewhat of a defensive perimeter.
Complete.
Don't know where these guys are, though, what we're currently doing. They're just bombing the planet, which for us is just fine. It's just too many of them. So maybe we can sneak behind enemy lines.
Planetary defenses overrun.
Oh, never mind. They just took the planet. That's less than optimal.
Alert Con 1 in effect. Enemy offensive action imminent. This is not a drill.
And of course, another war kicks in. Let me guess. There's 2 of them. Yep. That's not gonna go end well. Oh well. Well, we made a valiant effort, I guess, to be Florida Man.
Tracking enemy fleet.
This is so dumb.
On
All right,
target.
we may be able to trick them. We may be able to trick this fleet by putting them in. Oh well, no, they decided to go the other way again. They saw through our trickery. Now we gotta go and to chase after them. Oh, that's such a pain, man. Point defense. It's ending up not to be all what they wrote about back in the academy. Well, I think that would be a good time to, you know, finish this one off, because I'm afraid Florida Man's genius plan is sadly not really working out this time around. Putting point defense on everything, turns out is not really all that effective. Well, at least we managed to get that beautiful Baul lava lamp for our nightstand, whilst the hordes of the various species roll over our space, because we're fanatic purifiers and they don't like that sort of thing. It's a darn shame, really. It's a darn shame when these sort of things happen. Oh, Florida Man, you're so zany. Back to the crack bin you go. We can put a name on this. Florida Man fails to invade the universe using flak guns.